So much of life coaching comes from sports psychology, where it looks at, you have Tim Galloway's inner game of tennis.
Mhm.
You have this, I think what, even the word coaching is taken directly from the athletic realm. Where do you see those overlaps, or where have you as a sport coach, like where do you see uh, the overlaps between life coaching and sports psychology, and how does that translate into a student athlete performing better?
Well, um, visualizing and thinking about, that your future self, for example, because there's definitely a lot of overlap there. Kids are, especially as they're growing up, they're really trying to define what their role is going to be. A lot of times it's, who am I going to be inside of this school? What person am I going to be? Am I going to be the nerdy computer kid? Am I going to be the jock? Am I going to be the rebel? And then, what personality am I going to, what's my archetype going to be within this school? And so I personally haven't really enjoyed um, going along with the non-traditional athlete. So the one, the person who's really struggling to define that sports role. They realize they're not big enough to play football. Maybe they don't even like football. They don't even like to hit people, because I've seen a lot of really big kids that are 250 pounds. They love to work out, but they don't want to hit anyone, and everyone's like, oh, you'd be a great football player. Like you'd be a great tackle on your team. And that's not them. Just because they're physically built doesn't mean that, that's within their heart or their head to do that. So, with running, it's more of that person who is basically like, I don't think I'm an athlete at all. But if there was some kind of sport, I'd like to do it. And so then they let them come in that dynamic and really grow and realize that, wow, this is, I'm getting a lot from it. I'm getting stronger. I'm getting faster. I've made these great friends, and I'm starting to define and have this vision that I'm creating for myself. And this is what I could even do with this in the future, a year or 2 years down the road. And so I'm starting to set some goals, and I would like to achieve those goals. And usually, a lot of runners are distance runners. Are academically, they're usually, as a group, they're pretty high achievers, and they're really motivated. They really commit. They're planners, and so it's taking that and then, okay, what do we want to do with this? And so, I'm still integrating some of these things that I'm learning in life coaching into my role as a sports coach. But I know it's definitely helped me become a better coach. And I just was watching the inner game of tennis a few weeks ago, and I learned a lot from that as well, because it's like breaks it down in these really small little pieces, instead of focusing on like, I have to be a great tennis player today, or I have to be a great runner today. So I also coach track, and that's a different type of, it's not really, there are a lot of overlap, but it's not the same. So what I've started doing in track is to say, like, if I have a high jumper, I might say, all right, today during this meet, you only are going to focus on this one thing, and it's just your launch step. So that's that last step they take before they go up to go over the bar. So right now, you're only going to think about that. And I don't care if you get last place today. It doesn't even matter. That's not even important. It's just to think about this one thing. Because what confuses athletes a lot is when you're saying, okay, now your warm-up has to be this, and then you have to do this, and then you have to do this other thing. And then don't forget, like, right when you jump, like your arms have to be there, and then your head has to be back. And then, it ends up getting jumbled. And a lot of times that's just a recipe for